In this video, we will show you how to replace your alternator on this Nissan Altima with a 2.5-liter engine. Your alternator is located inside of your engine compartment on the right front. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we want to talk about is make sure you're in a safe area because we will have to raise and support the vehicle. Other than that, you want to be under the hood. We're going to disconnect the negative battery terminal. We'll use a 10mm. We're going to turn this. Go ahead and lift this up and out of place. Let's continue on to removing our engine cover from across the top here. You'll find this is held in place with 3 10mm headed bolts. It also has one push-in locking clip along the back side here. Inspect that mounting hardware as you remove it. Replace it as necessary. At this point, I'll take hold along this area and lift it straight up and remove the engine cover. With the cover out of the way, let's start disconnecting our wiring. Go ahead and carefully lift this little boot out of the way. Underneath that, you're going to find that you have a 12mm headed mounting nut. Do not remove this mounting nut unless you have disconnected that battery terminal. Take hold of the cable and lift it up and off. A quick check for corrosion. If you see a whole bunch of green or any other funny color, you need to go ahead and sand it down. Now, just underneath that area, you're going to find another wiring harness. This one has a locking tab where my index finger is. Go ahead and squeeze that in and gently lift this up and out of position. Over in the passenger side wheel well, we'll start removing the wheel. If you have a hubcap, go ahead and remove that now. Take hold of it, give it a light tug, and pull it away from the wheel. Once that's out of place, we'll continue on with our 5 21mm lug nuts and then remove the wheel from the vehicle. With the wheel out of the way, let's remove this plastic panel. It's held in place with 4 plastic push clips. To remove your push clips, carefully pull out the center to unlock it and then remove the outer portion as well. You can use a trim tool, small screwdriver, whatever you've got. Make our way in between, separate it. That's what it looks like right there. Get the center pulled out, should be unlocked. We'll set this aside. With that panel out of the way, we have a clear view of our Serpentine belt in this area. The Serpentine belt tensioner is up inside here. We can gain access to this with a 17mm, and we're going to turn the tensioner counterclockwise. Once you've relieved pressure from the belt, we can continue on to sliding the belt off of one of the pulleys. The crank pulley's right out in the open. We'll just go ahead and slide that right off of there. Remove your tool. The next thing you want to do is give your belt a quick inspection. Make sure it's soft and pliable and it doesn't look like it's cracked or worn in any way. Back up under the hood, let's continue on to removing the serpentine belt from up along the pulley on the alternator. Just go ahead and slide that right out of place. With that out of place, we have a clear view of the upper mounting bolt for the alternator, and if you were to look just below that, you'll find the second 13mm headed bolt. We'll remove the pair, starting with the hardest one to get to, which is down along the bottom there. Got our 13mm down here. Not much room down here. To fully remove that bolt, you may have to loosen the upper bolt as well. We'll give that mounting hardware a quick inspection and set it aside. Let's make our way to the upper bolt. At this point, we can take hold of the alternator and start lifting it up and out of here. Just have to wiggle it around a little bit to break it free. We'll carefully bring it up past the radiator here. We don't want to cause any damage to anything. There it is, friend. Before we can install our alternator, we need to make sure we clean up the wiring. This is the main power wire that leads over to that alternator. We want to make sure we have good contact, use a little bit of fine sandpaper, and clean down any corrosion you might happen to see. To both sides. The next thing you'll want to do is clean and inspect your mounting bolts for your alternator. Now we can get ready to install our alternator. Slide this down in here. There we are. Align your mounting bolt holes. Start in each of your mounting bolts before you tighten either of them. Now that I have the bolts started in by hand, we'll take the alternator and slide it rearward as far as possible. Once you've done so, you can continue on to snugging that bolt, and then we'll torque each of these to 18 foot-pounds. Now let's make our way in this area. If your dipstick had lifted up, go ahead and slide that back down. Start reconnecting our wiring harnesses here. We want to make sure we have the locking tab for this one facing towards the center of the vehicle. Press it down, listen for a click, give it a light tug to make sure it's secure. We'll continue on to our other wiring harness here. Slide it down, align it where it needs to be, and we'll continue on with the mounting nut. The mounting nut, you can go ahead and take that, bottom it out, and then we'll torque it to 96 inch-pounds. You want to make sure it's sitting flush. Install your mounting nut. .96 inch-pounds. We'll make sure we cover that area. Now we can install our serpentine belt. We'll take this and start bringing it down into place. The belt itself is going to go around the alternator, so you can go ahead and bring that down and over. Now at this point, we'll be taking this and sliding it all the way down towards the bottom there. Let's take this rearward side of the belt and slide it towards the rear of the engine. Have to make it past that pulley over there. There we are. Let's make our way into the passenger side wheel well. Down inside the wheel well, we'll make sure that the belt backing makes its way across the tensioner, and then the ribbed area will make its way up and over the crank, all the way around, and down towards the front, where it's going to go around the AC compressor pulley. Once you have this in the proper placement, we'll continue on with our 17mm directly up on that tensioner. Keep in mind, this could potentially slip out of position. Be careful for any pinch points as you continue. Once you have your serpentine belt tool on there, you can continue on by turning this. Slide the serpentine belt over your AC compressor pulley. Now at this point, we'll just double check all the pulleys we can see to make sure the belt is completely seated properly. You can see that the belt itself does have ribs. Make sure they're fitting inside the grooves on each one of the pulleys that has the grooves. Once you've done that, you can remove your tool. Now, once you've confirmed that the belt routing looks good, we'll continue on with our plastic panel inside the wheel well. Get that in position. Start in your push clips by pushing in the outer portion first, and then lock it in by pressing in the center. Continue on to reinstalling your wheel. Start on all 5 of your 21mm lug nuts, bottom them out. We'll get the wheel back on the ground, and then we can torque each of these to 83 foot-pounds. With the wheel safely back on the ground, we'll torque these in a crisscross manner. Torqued. If you have a hubcap, go ahead and put that on now. Pay attention to your valve stem hole. You want to make sure that aligns. Double check to make sure that's secure so it does not fall off while you're driving down the road. Let's get back up under the hood. It's time to reinstall the engine cover. Looking along the bottom side here, you will find that you have a rubber grommet. And if you were to look up along the top of where the valve cover is, you're going to find this small locating tab. We'll align those 2 areas and also align our mounting bolt holes. After that, we can start in all 3 of our 10mm headed mounting bolts. Make your way over to your negative battery terminal. We'll connect this in, use your 10mm, and we'll snug it up. Double check to make sure both of these are secured. Okay friend, we showed you how to install the alternator on your vehicle. At this point, start it up, let it run for approximately 5 seconds and turn it right back off. After that, make your way back out here and triple check the belt. We want to make sure that it's sitting in each one of those grooves as needed. Assuming that looks good, you can go ahead and close the hood and take your vehicle for a road test. Aside from that, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.